So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs or the important news items in that day's newspaper in a very short span of time within 20 minutes. Now, today we are going to be covering October 15th, 2024's important news items. And the important news items that were shortlisted from this day's newspaper are as following. So, let's take a look at the topics of the day. Okay. In total, we'll be focusing on 4 topics. Here they are. Let's discuss them one by one. So, number one would be NASA's Europa Clipper mission. It is NASA spacecraft sent on Europa. Europa is a moon of Jupiter. And it is one such moon where people think or scientists think that life might be possible. So, that is why NASA is sending this spacecraft to study the signs of life. Okay. Then USA is giving to Israel an air defense system which is quite innovative and quite scientifically ahead than all the other air defense systems. It is called THAAD. Okay. Now, THAAD is generally given by USA to its very close allies. And right now, USA thinks that Israel might attack Iran and Iran might respond with ballistic missile attacks. So it wants to help Israel out with anything. Okay, that is why they have given them missile defense systems. Okay, so we'll discuss this. Then 12th October is celebrated as Columbus Day. Now, Christopher Columbus discovered the New World, Americas, uh, and that is what he's credited for. And Columbus Day is a holiday in America. Okay, so we'll talk about the history of Columbus Day. This is very important from the perspective of world history. Okay, who was Christopher Columbus, how did he discover America, and all that stuff. Okay. And in the end, we'll talk about Nobel Prize for Economics. Recently, it was awarded to 3 economists. So we'll talk about their contribution and we'll talk about why they were given this Nobel Prize. Okay. So we'll be focusing our attention on these 4 topics. Let's start with topic number 1, NASA's Europa Clipper mission. Now, NASA launched the Europa Clipper spacecraft to explore Jupiter's moon called Europa. Okay, aiming to investigate its subsurface ocean for habitability. Okay. Now the thing is, previous missions to Jupiter have revealed that one of its moons, called Europa, might have subsurface oceans, oceans of liquid water, oceans of H2O. The thing is that the surface layer of Europa is covered with ice, very thick ice. But below that ice, scientists feel that there is an ocean of water. And where there is water, life is possible there. Okay, that is why many previous missions have been sent to Europa or Jupiter to find out signs for life, whether that planet or that moon, basically, Europa is a moon, is habitable. Can humans survive on it? And if humans can, because of the availability of water, are there any other signs of life there? Okay, so that is why Europa Clipper is being sent over there. Now, the cost of the mission is $5.2 billion. It has 9 instruments. All of them are dedicated towards studying Europa's environment and studying whether there are signs of life. Now, this spacecraft has been launched, but it will take around 5.5 years to reach Jupiter. Okay, so it'll reach Jupiter by 2030, and there it will perform 49 flyby missions over the span of 4 years on Europa. So it will fly close to the surface of Europa 49 times. Okay, in the span of 4 years, and whenever it is the closest to this moon, it will click photographs. It will have various instruments like radar, X-rays to study the surface of this moon. Now, what is the significance of this mission? Well, scientists are certain that deep global ocean exists beneath the icy crust of Europa, as I mentioned before. Therefore, chances of life on that moon are high. Why? Because wherever there is liquid water, life is possible there. Now, if we talk about this mission, then as I have already mentioned, it is a $5.2 billion mission. The spacecraft is 5,700 kgs and it will circle Jupiter. It will orbit around Jupiter every 21 days. So, in every 21 days, or one revolution of Jupiter would get completed in 21 days. Okay, within this time, it will fly close to Jupiter's moon called Europa. So it will revolve around Jupiter, and every revolution would take 21 days. Whenever it's closer to Europa, it would do some measurements through its instruments. Okay, how close will it fly to Europa? Well, it will fly as close as 25 kilometers above the surface of Europa. So that's pretty close. Okay. Now the spacecraft will look for organic compounds because organic compounds are the building blocks of life. Okay, we all animals, all biodiversity is made up of organic compounds. So basically, it will be looking for organic compounds because if the Europa Clipper finds signs of organic compounds, well, then we can be certain there can be it can be assessed or it can be inferred that some amount of or some form of life is possible on that moon. Okay, chances of life on that moon becomes higher if organic compounds are found over there. Now, are there any previous missions that were sent to Jupiter? Well, there are. The first initial missions were NASA's Pioneer spacecraft and Voyager spacecraft. They were not Jupiter missions, okay, but they flew close to the planet Jupiter and they clicked photographs of that planet. In fact, the first detailed photos of Europa were clicked by Voyager mission. Then NASA's Galileo spacecraft was sent specifically to Jupiter, and it flew close to Europa in the 1990s, getting as close as 200 kilometers to Europa. Then NASA sent its Juno spacecraft, again a Jupiter mission. It was launched in 2011 and it reached Jupiter in 2016 and is operational still. Okay, it is still measuring or clicking photographs of Jupiter. It is still operational. And after Europa Clipper from NASA, okay, so Europa Clipper would reach Jupiter in 2030. European Space Agency's another spacecraft called JUICE spacecraft will reach Jupiter by 2031. The JUICE spacecraft has already been launched, but it will take some time to reach Jupiter. It will reach Jupiter by 2031. So already there, so in 2031 or in 2031, okay, there will be three spacecrafts dedicated to Europa. One would be NASA's Juno spacecraft, then Europa Clipper, and then European Space Agency's JUICE spacecraft. All right, that's about it. That's all you need to know about this NASA mission. Now let's shift our focus to some defense related news. Third, from USA to Israel. So USA is going to provide Israel with an air defense, very high level air defense system called THAAD. Okay, THAAD stands for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. Okay, that is why it is called THAAD. And USA, while underlining its ironclad commitment to the defense of Israel, has announced that it will send advanced missile defense system to Israel. Now, THAAD is very efficient. It is so efficient and it is so significant, even for USA, that when USA sends someone or some country with this air defense system, it also sends its soldiers because only those soldiers are trained in operating this THAAD. Okay, it is that complicated but that efficient. Now, let's talk about THAAD then. Okay, so it was developed by a private company called Lockheed Martin Corporation in USA. It provides air defense against short-range missiles, medium-range missiles, and limited intermediate range missiles. Okay, one battery of THAAD consists of 95 soldiers who would operate this, six truck-mounted launchers like this, 48 interceptors. So in one truck, you'll have 8 missiles, and they had 6 truck-mounted missile launchers, which creates one THAAD battery. It has a radar, surveillance radar, and a tactical fire component. Okay, so it is very efficient. Now, what is its significance, and why is America exporting it to Israel? So THAAD has been stationed in Israel. However, THAAD being stationed in Israel is more significant step. Look, USA considers Israel to be such close ally that even Ukraine asked for this air defense system to counter Russian attacks. But USA did not export THAAD to Ukraine, but it is exporting it to Israel. Now you can imagine. Ukraine's situation is quite critical, but America is not willing to send THAAD to Ukraine. It is willing to send it to Israel. That is the significance of Israel in the eyes of America. The export model of now USA also has another missile defense system which is with Israel called Patriot missile defense system. Okay, now Patriot missile defense system costs around 1 billion, but THAAD is so efficient and so good in quality that its price is 2.5 billion dollars. In fact, it is not just expensive. It requires trained US personnel to operate it. No one else can operate this missile defense system. Okay, so this is the significance of THAAD, and this is the significance of Israel in the eyes of US. All right, that's about it. Now let's move on to something related to world history about Columbus Day. Now remember, second Monday of every October is observed in United States as Columbus Day, and it is a federal holiday. It's a national holiday basically. This holiday is there to commemorate the landing of Christopher Columbus in America. So basically, Christopher Columbus discovered America on October 12th, 1492. Okay, though you should know this, it is important. Christopher Columbus did not discover North America. Okay, he did not discover USA, Canada, or Mexico. He discovered Caribbean islands and South America, some areas of South America. But still, before Christopher Columbus, this entire region, North America, South America, was unknown to mankind, humankind. Okay, but after Christopher Columbus, this new world got discovered. So Americans actually credit Christopher Columbus for discovery of their country, and that is why they celebrate it as Columbus Day on second Monday of every October. Now, what's the history behind this discovery? Why did Columbus set out for discovering a new place? Okay, the thing is that Columbus did not sail around the world to discover America. He sailed around the world to discover India. He was actually going to discover India, but found a new continent called America. And why was there a need to discover India? The thing is, Europe and Asia have been trading for many centuries, even millenniums. Okay, there were good trade relations between the two. But after the rise of Ottoman Empire in West and Central Asia came under Ottoman control, and Ottomans were not good friends with European countries. Okay, so the trade routes, the land routes, basically, were under Ottoman control, and they blocked Europe's trade with Asia. That is why there was a need to discover a new route for India, new sea route to India. Okay, and for that reason, in 1488, Bartholomew Diaz, he set out to discover India, and he became the first European to cross the Cape of Good Hope. It is the southern tip of Africa. Okay, so he discovered this Cape of Good Hope route. Then Vasco da Gama, he took this route discovered by Diaz, and he sailed around Africa to reach Calicut in 1498. So it was Vasco da Gama who discovered India through a sea route. Though many Europeans had discovered India through land routes, but Vasco da Gama was the first one to discover India through sea route. Okay, and he reached Calicut in Kerala, which is now called Kozhikode, in 1498. Now, Christopher Columbus also wanted to discover India. So Christopher Columbus said that Vasco da Gama is taking the wrong route. I will go westward towards the Atlantic Ocean. I will find another route. And he sailed westward across Atlantic Ocean. Okay, and then he eventually reached Caribbean islands. So he took his three ships, Santa Maria, Pinta, Nina, and left for Caribbean islands, or left for his journey on October 12th. Okay, he reached Cuba, Hispaniola, and other islands in the Caribbean, interacting and imprisoning the native tribal people there. He called them Los Indios. And the thing is with Columbus, and that's very funny, when he reached Cuba, Hispaniola, Columbus thought that he had discovered India. According to Columbus, this was not the New World. This was the far end of India. So Columbus, till his death, believed that he had discovered India. He had not discovered America. And that is why he called the native tribal people of that region he discovered Los Indios. Because he thought that these people are Indians. And because of his terminology, the tribals, the native people of Americas are still referred to as Indians. Because of Christopher Columbus. Now, after taking many slaves from these islands, he came back in 1493, and he was given a hero's welcome. Okay, and then he went again to these areas, opening up the routes to these areas and allowing Spanish colonization of South America. That is why Spain colonized much of South America. Look, this line is very important. Columbus did not realize he had discovered a new world. He thought that he had discovered India. Anyway, this is the story behind Christopher Columbus's discovery. That's about it. And let's move on to our last topic of the day, which is Nobel Prize for Economics. Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences on Monday awarded Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel for 2024 to three US-based economists. Okay, these are the three US-based economists. And why were they awarded? Well, they contributed or they studied the importance of institutions or the importance of institutions in deciding prosperity of a nation. Okay, their studies actually revealed that what makes a country prosperous, rich, and what makes a country poor. Okay, they helped us understand the difference between rich and poor countries. What are the different circumstances in rich countries and poor countries that make them so different? Now, what did they find? What did they find in their study? They said that the difference between rich and poor countries is that of institutions. Democratic institutions, bureaucratic institutions, social institutions, everything. Caste, parliament, judiciary, these are all institutions. Okay? All three of them said that institutions are pivotal in deciding the future of any country. Okay? They said that societal institutions are extremely important for a country's prosperity. The three laureates actually compared the institutions of all the countries, developed as well as developing. And they said that there are two types of institutions: inclusive institutions, which developed countries have had, and extractive institutions. Okay? And their presence actually decides the fate of a country. If a country has had inclusive institutions for like 100 or 200 years, that country must be developed. And if a country has had extractive institutions for 100 or 200 years of its history, then that country is poor. Okay. Now, what are inclusive and extractive institutions? Now, inclusive institutional framework refers to existence of democracy, law, rule of law, protection of property rights. Whereas extractive institutions are generally monarchical institutions, dictatorial institutions that are just there to extract wealth from people. Okay, inclusive institutions are there to help people create wealth, the local people. Extractive institutions are there to help the king or the ruler of that area or the colonizer of that area to extract wealth. Okay, that's about it. So Europe, Western Europe, Americas, North America, in particular, Canada and USA had inclusive institutions, whereas Africa, Latin America, and many parts of Asia had extractive institutions. Okay, so this was their insight. Okay, this is what they discovered, and for this contribution, they were awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics for 2024. All right. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope it has added value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you revise this lecture also. And you can revise this lecture by revising the notes given by us. The notes would be given in a PDF file, and that PDF file shall be shared on our Telegram channel. Make sure you go to our Telegram channel and download this PDF file. Where can you find our Telegram channel? Well, in the comment section below this video, I have provided a link for our Telegram channel. All you have to do is click on that link and you'll be taken to our Telegram channel. Okay? So on that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.